Hey guys, how are we? Well, Saturday afternoon. Now, at the moment we're out the front of the chocolate factory and the forest by Sky, strange names, and the Mermaid. And these are on the Sky Garden, which is further back, it's on the corner. Very, very popular with Thai people. In regards to you're keeping your eye on these bloody dogs around here, they will bite you. Yeah, so very popular with Thai people on weekends to come down here and do their selfie sticks. I mean, not that I can talk, but it gets to the dizzying heights of craziness down here on the weekend. So you know, friends warned me about this while I was down here, but yeah, anyway, I probably wouldn't travel about 200 kilometers just to take a photo, but anyway, so this is it. This is where they all come on the weekend, and all the best to them. So lots of dogs here, and you'll see these little critters on the road. Most of them are pretty nice, they're pretty placid. There's some beautiful dogs actually on the beach. Very, very placid, but they do get aggressive in the wrong circumstances and have been known to attack people. So you just got to make sure with predators, got to keep your eye on them. As soon as you turn your back on them, they're going to attack. So doesn't matter if it's a tiger, a lion, or a dog. And I know that from experience because cattle dogs always nip you on the heel, little buggers. Anyway, so Justin Bieber is suffering from Ramsay Hunt syndrome, which is caused by shingles. And so anyway, he's paralyzed down one side of his face and can't actually smile or blink. And so really sad news for him. Really, really sad news because, you know, that's his job, you know. And hopefully he gets a full recovery. Whether you like him or not, I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. So there's another really nice restaurant here. There's ones where they have pods. I think it's the Mermaid, and they sit in these pods that are sort of arched over the trees, and it's just, this culture is a little bit over the top sometimes, I think. But anyway, yeah, so he's suffering from paralysis, and as I said, from shingles. My wife's a doctor, and she goes, oh, he should be all right. But there are people, if you don't treat it soon enough, apparently, it can leave lasting side effects. So he's just cancelled his world tour. And the reason why I mention that is, if you're in Thailand and you can't smile, then you could be in trouble. Now, I didn't know this. I've been doing a lot of research since I've been here, right? And this is one of the things why I understand now why so many foreigners, they call them farangs, why so many foreigners misinterpret Thai people. So Thai people have 13 different smiles apparently, and not all of them are good, and not all of them mean that they like you. And this sewage smell, it attacks you. It just sort of comes up and pounces on you at the last minute, and you walk along, and then all of a sudden it's like this foreign stench just assaults you. Welcome to Thailand. Oh, I mean, you wish that they would just fix these. It's probably one of the worst smelling countries I've ever lived in, and yeah, that sewage, as I said, is just horrendous. But yeah, so they have 13 different types of smiles. Getting back on point, And a lot of Farang or foreigners come here and they see, a lovely young lady, and she smiles at them, and they think, oh my goodness, she smiled at me. She's interested in me. And they sort of go down that path, and then are disappointed when things go to crap. The smiles, apparently, there's 13 different types of smile, and they have different names for the different types of smiles. And as I said, not all of them are positive. Some mean just, oh, there's a foreigner, and just being polite, or just sort of being stoic. They may not actually like you. So you really have to pick up on the nuances of the Thai smile, apparently. The language is extremely complicated, and speaking with a few people here, they have similar words to Mandarin. So like ma, and ma, and ma, and basically the flexion of the tone. So if it rises, so your ma means one thing, ma, as is like it goes down. So the A sound goes down. So it can mean the difference between, pig's head, dog, mother, based on what tone you use or inflect. And it's the same thing with the smiles here. They mean different things. So be very cautious of that. Just because someone smiles at you here doesn't mean they like you or they think much of you. And that makes perfect sense to me in a lot of ways now, because I sit there and listen to some of these stories, and now I get why these people sit there and go, they didn't actually like me. So just be very cautious of that when you come here. You're in a completely different culture. The language is exceptionally difficult, like really difficult. As I said in a previous video, I'm partially deaf, and I always read stuff before I learn to pronounce it. I have to do it, otherwise I can't just pick up on the tones. So learning Mandarin was virtually impossible. A mate of mine, Ben, was just a master at learning languages. And another friend of mine, Donovan, absolutely brilliant at language. And I suck at it. And the reason why I suck at it is because, I struggle with some of these finer tones. So just be mindful of that when you come here. I'm always very, very polite when I try and deal with people and try and get people on side, because you never know when when you're going to need someone's blessing or favor, And you want to make friends wherever you go. You don't want to make enemies. That's the last thing you want to do. And you really want to be in a situation where people like you and will probably go out of their way to help you if they like you. But there's no reason to come here or any other culture and get upset because you don't get what you want, and it's not, it doesn't meet your expectations. You're really a guest in a foreign culture or country, and it's one of the things that really upsets me about Australia, because so many foreigners come to Australia and they assume that they can just do whatever they please. And what really sort of annoys me about a lot of Australians is they don't stand for anything. It's all this liberal progressive crap, and at the end of the day, you don't stand for anything, you don't stand. That's the problem. And I think that's what's coming. So at the end of the day, that's where Australia's, hello, someone's happy, aren't you? Yeah, that guy's getting in trouble, I can tell. I've got a wife, I know what it's like. Poor fella. So yeah, it's interesting. You just got to be very, very cautious about what you're doing, right? So anyway, share some of my frustrations why I left Australia. Really happy to be out of there, to be honest. And I get these comments, and you don't need, if you heard that and it offends you, don't need to make a comment, oh good, don't come back, because yeah, I'm just going to block you off the YouTube channel. You'll never see my content again, and you'll probably go, oh good, but I don't care. So you know, like someone got into me yesterday. I was talking about they're all up in arms in Australia because interest rates have gone up. A lot of people are suffering mortgage stress, so there's less dispensable income or discretionary income. So it means they're not going to be buying as much. Up to they're looking at a 70% reduction in the value of properties, and you know, I did read one article on news.com.au where they're basically saying that the current interest rate is going to affect the normal, you know, $650,000 mortgage. It's going to add an extra $1,000 a month. I'm not sure about it being that high, but, and I don't know where they get their figures from, but because all interest rates are different, all, you know, home loans are different, they've got different rates, right? So it's hard to sort of say it's going to add this much to it. But anyway, so, it's certainly going to affect people. To what extent, I'm not sure, but I can guarantee you, next month it's going to go up again by another 50 basis points, and probably the month after that, and the month after that, and the month after that. And the official cash rate is going to have to go up, and it does not matter what the Reserve Bank of Australia, what the Prime Minister of Australia, the Treasurer of Australia, or any of them think. The problem is that you've got the 10-year Treasury bond rate, and you can get on Yahoo and have a look at that rate and watch that sucker go up. It's over 3.1% at the moment. And this is what I've been saying to you. You've got to keep an eye on. That is basically the trigger for a debt sell-off. That's going to cause absolute carnage on the equities markets, going to force commodities to go through the roof. Probably cryptocurrencies will go through the roof, because a lot of people will get out of that debt. They don't want to carry bad debt. They don't want to invest in bad debt. So the more people get out of the 10-year Treasury, the higher those interest rates go up to try and lure more people in. And anyway, I studied finance at university and economics, and spent a lot of time calculating bond yields and all that sort of stuff. But I'm just saying, keep an eye on that. It's what happens in that 10-year bond yield is extremely important for the cost of interest rates in other countries, and Australia is not immune. I think it's about 87% or 86% of Australian mortgage debt is funded off the international money market. Now, if that 3.1% goes up even further, which we think it will, it's just going to put more pressure on there. The other thing that we have to keep an eye on is that these developing countries are heavily exposed to foreign debt as well. The more that US currency goes up, they've got to use their domestic currency. They've got to use more of their domestic currency to pay off that debt. And because they've got to exchange it for US dollars to pay that debt off. So it's a double whammy. You've got higher interest rates, plus you've got a depreciating currency against the US dollar. Absolute nightmare. And the other problem is your commodities like oil and coal, etc., it's all going up, because there's going to be increased demand for people to get into that because they want a good, safe investment. Gold, silver is probably going to go through the roof as well. So a lot of this stuff that we would consider as, you know, stable, standard financial and economic policy and and what we would consider norms, it's finished. It's coming to an end really quickly. I did see Jamie Dimon the other day. He said the US is facing an economic and financial hurricane. And when a guy like that sort of talks in those sort of terms, you know there's massive problems coming. So keep an eye on that. And as I said, I don't wish negative things on anyone. I was a little bit annoyed the other day when when I said, you know, I've been telling people for 10 years to get out of Australian property because it's artificially inflated and it's got to come back to a historical mean. It's the one thing. I'll save you $100,000 on a finance degree and tell you one thing you want to look at. Are you buying above or below historical value? If you're buying above historical value, you're paying too much. If you're buying below, you're getting good price. So, and that's the name of the game. So save yourself your pennies. But everything must come back to a normalised standard. It doesn't matter. We know house prices should be a percentage of GDP. We also know they should be 3 to 4 times the average yearly income. And you know, Western countries have basically tried to print off to infinity, and it's just coming back to haunt them now. And there's no other tools or assets they have in their quiver to be able to deal with these issues that are arising. So it's going to play out pretty soon. My real concern is for the middle class and people who have been so clever in leveraging to buy the first, second and third and fourth property. And I know a couple of them, and they're proud as punch to have all this debt. I've got 4 properties. Congratulations, how much do you owe on that? And you know, one guy said to me, I'm a millionaire, I've got the equivalent of $1.5 million. I said, have you sold it yet? Because you're not a millionaire until you cash in. And a millionaire doesn't mean much anymore anyway. So, but anyway, I'm not trying to be spiteful. I'm just saying we're heading for really difficult times, but I've been saying it for 10 years, for crying out loud. No one listens to you until it's too late. So, but yeah, anyway, on lighter topics, here we are out the front, and you can see everyone sort of coming here to, this is the place to be on the weekends, man. You want to come down, get a photo at the chocolate factory. So when you're in Pattaya or Bangkok, you know, you better get down here and take a happy snap. So, but yeah, certainly keep an eye on that 10-year bond yield. Very, very important. The other thing to keep an eye on, my wife and I, we both go through this every day. We always say, I can't say it now because my phone will go burko, but always say, oh, hey, Erie, what's the 10-year bond yield? And the phone always talks back, oh, it's 3.16%. It's increased by 1%. And, you know, it's actually never good when you see it going up on a consistent rate like that, because it means it's building momentum in a particular direction. So, so just keep that in mind. Anyway, I'm not wanting to be negative or critical of people, but I'm just trying to say, hey, we're heading for really nasty times ahead. And it's part of the reason why we came here to Thailand. It's cheap to live here. Rent a property for next to nothing, and you know, at the right time, I suppose, with powder being kept dry, and you know, it's a financial term, keep your powder dry. You want to keep cash, because in about 2 years, 3 years time, you'll be buying houses in Australia for cents on the dollar. So thoroughly believe that, been saying it for a long time. And you know, people always say, oh, I had a guy yesterday get into me and he goes, oh, congratulations, you've been wrong for 10 years and now you're finally right. I just sit there, I shake my head because that's a level of stupidity that is beyond belief. Yeah, I mean, calamity's coming, you know. So if you know a freight train's coming, why play on the tracks for as long as you can? Because at the end of the day, you know there's a financial and economic collapse coming, been coming, I mean, and not just a normal sort of standard 2008 GFC. This is going to make the GFC look like a kindergarten picnic. And you know, I use that in strong terms. I mean it, because it's the end of the financial system as we know it. I am absolutely convinced that the new system you're going to see is a new international trading currency and a new international taxation system. And you watch how quickly this is going to come about. So wait for the crisis and then the solution, and they already have the solution. And you know, this is a controlled demolition. It's like something else. So you know, controlled demolitions are their specialty, and the financial system and tax system is no different. So you know, keep that in mind. You're going to be taxed before the money even hits your account. But yeah, it's all doom and gloom this afternoon, I know. But you know, you'll get through it if you can actually strategize through it. As I said, the people that are aware of this and understand what's happening, they're going to make multi-generational wealth. The people who think that they're too clever for the system and for others are going to get right royally sideways. And yeah, as I said, it's coming. I mean, look at all these poor people who had these buildings and all these businesses. They're all shut, and the economy here is really tanked. KCAR said, hey, it looks like you're the only person on the street, virtually. But there are other people here. It's Saturday night, so it is getting busier, but yeah, it's not as busy apparently as what it used to be. So anyway, guys, if you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel, do that, helps me out. And don't forget your smile in Thailand, and go to the Facebook group and join the discussion over there. All right, guys.